Hello and welcome to part 6 of this tutorial series. In this part we are going to discuss having multiple triggers and pointing them at the same job. Quartz allows for the same job to be executed by multiple triggers. A job does not have to know about the triggers executing it, which makes it perfect to execute the same job on different schedules with different triggers. To be able to run the same job with multiple triggers, first we need to save the job. To save the job, we use the scheduler.addJob method. The first parameter is a job detail, and the second is a boolean value indicating if the job should be replaced if it's already existing. In order to save a job that is not attached to a trigger, we need to set the store durably property on the job to true. This will let the scheduler know that the job can remain without any triggers pointing to it. In order to set the property store durably, all we have to do is call the method store durably. Now that we stored our job, we need to tell our trigger what job it should point to. To point a trigger to a job, we need to use the method forJob. The forJob method accepts multiple parameters. We can use a job key, we can use a job name, we can use the job name and the job group, or we can use a job detail object directly. In our case, let's use a job detail directly because we have that variable already. Now that we have pointed our trigger to a job, let's schedule that trigger. In our previous videos we used to schedule a job and a trigger at the same time, but now we already are saving the job and pointing the trigger to that job, so we only need to schedule the trigger. Once we have scheduled the trigger, all we have to do is run the application. Let's start the job. And we can see that the job gets executed properly. Now let's add another trigger so we can try the same job with two different triggers. To keep things simple, let's copy and paste our existing trigger. Let's rename it to trigger2 and rename the identity as well to testTrigger2. To be able to tell which trigger executing the job, let's rename our trigger parameter to simpleTrigger2 parameter. The trigger will point to the same job, and let's schedule the trigger2 now. Let's run the application. As we can see, the job is being executed by both triggers. We see simple executed with username, dev.how and password security with trigger parameter, simpleTrigger2 and simpleTrigger1 and simpleTrigger1 and simpleTrigger2, etc. That's it for executing the same job with multiple triggers. We'll get into more details in later videos.